helping modern women unleash their feminine power. Hello, my loves. Welcome to episode 8 of Feminine Dating with your favorite host, Lillian Toscano. So, today we're going to be talking about what I would do if I were single, okay? With everything that I know now, this is what I would do if I were single. So, the other day, I was actually just thinking about it, right? How I got here, right? How I got here. And as you, maybe most of you know, I am married, happily married. I can say that for sure. And so I was thinking about this of how I got here to, being in this loving and healthy relationship that I could only dream about having, right? Because I didn't really see that in my life, right? A happy relationship. My parents, I didn't see that. I didn't see that in, a lot of the movies, except for maybe Hollywood movies or those Disney movies, which are totally fake, right? Because as you know, a loving relationship, a healthy relationship looks so much different, right? In real life. So, I didn't have that model. I didn't have that example in my life. So I didn't know what that looked like. I could only dream about it. I could only have that vision in my mind. So anyway, um, and I'm sure you feel the same way, right? In terms of like, maybe you didn't have that with you saw your parents always fighting, or, your aunt or your friends, your uncles, everybody around you were in such unhappy relationships, and you thought like, oh wow, like I'm never gonna have then a good relationship. Based on what I'm seeing, I may never get there because I don't even know what that looks like, right? So, and you may think like, well, only the lucky girls have that. Only the lucky women can actually find that man. But that's not true. Okay. So you may be thinking that I just got lucky, right? And found a really good man. But the reality really is that I did I did my part in bringing him into my life. I did my work in order to bring him into my life. I was very intentional with this, and I realized this very early on, right? That it wasn't luck. I created this amazing relationship, and I'm continue to create this amazing relationship each and every day, right? I birthed this into my existence. And no, I'm not talking about this like voodoo stuff. Okay. This is like practical steps that I did, and in the inner work that I did in order to make this happen. So, and like I said, this is something that I do every single day, in terms of like keeping a healthy relationship, some of these things anyway, in order to keep this, amazing, healthy relationship. And this is what you can do too. So if you are just, looking to find that man that you desire, or you're already in a relationship with someone, this can really help you. Okay. So anyway, I remember one day, I'm going to tell you this story. It's kind of embarrassing, but I will tell it because I'm going to share it with you because I think it's going to help you so much. So I remember making a decision one day after getting ghosted and ignored by a man that I dated for a couple of weeks, or probably like a month and a half, 2 months, right? I kept, it was, it was very, I felt really, and cared by this man. He really took care of me. Every single date was like really, it was just very loving. He was very caring. And I thought, oh, wow, this is it. I really thought this was the guy, right? And then he completely ignored me, ghosted me. I never heard from him, and I was devastated. But after I got over this, after a couple weeks of me going through, the grief of losing something like this, because I felt like, we were going somewhere. And, I'm sure you have experienced the same thing with, you date a man for a couple weeks, maybe a few months, and you think, oh, this is great. And then all of a sudden things just go south, and you're left wondering as to like what just happened. So anyway, I made this decision right after this. I made my decision was to date differently. This was the decision that I decided that day. I made a decision to date differently, right? And not hold myself back by staying stuck in situationships that were going nowhere, right? And I can tell you that I did, even though this relationship or this like situationship that I had with this man felt like, yeah, I was going somewhere, there were many, many red flags that I saw, that I noticed, but I ignored. And I am sure you have experienced this yourself. Okay. So just be honest with yourself as to, what am I in and how can I date differently? Right. So I was really going to take matters into my own hands and commit to my goal of having an incredible relationship no matter what. Okay. And I held on to this commitment loosely. I wasn't so tight about it in the sense of like, I better get this man and I better get, the man that I desire right away, or no, it was there. I felt it. I made that commitment. Like I grabbed onto it, but it was very, I surrendered to where I was, but I also allowed it to be there. Right. And I held on to this commitment loosely. Okay. And this is what I mean by this. Okay. I didn't know how it was going to happen. Okay. This is the loosely part. This is where I was kind of like surrendering to what was happening at this moment. But I was committed to it because I knew that it would happen to me, that I would have that relationship, that incredible relationship that I desired, that if it was in my heart, it was meant for me. Right. So I committed to it, but I wasn't like, grabbing onto any men. I wasn't like clinging onto any specific men. I was allowing things to just unfold as they should. Right. And I was convinced that my forever guy was out there, and I was ready to bring him into my life. I knew that, like, I felt that in my heart, in my gut, like it was there. It was in me. And so, if this is you, if you feel like, you're ready to bring Mr. Right to show up, then let's make it happen. Okay. So I'm going to share with you what I would do now that I know everything that I know as a dating coach and what I've experienced in my dating life in the past with my clients and everything else. These are the 5 things that I would do if I were single. Okay. So number 1, I would focus on my mindset. Okay. This is very, very important. Okay. I would get crystal clear on what I want. Okay. And stay on the path until I got it. Okay. Because a lot of times we say we want one thing and our behavior says something else. We date men that are just not ready and willing to give us that. Right. So we have to be crystal clear as to what is it that you really want, and you stay on that path. So that means you get rid of the wrong men faster. Right. I would really focus on, feelings of having it already, of living it, experiencing this ideal relationship that I want, right? Because I know that if I focus on what I want, that is, it's going to come into my reality faster, right? I would remind myself daily that the how, the when, and the who were outside of my control. So I would leave that up to God, the universe, the higher power, whatever it is that you believe in, to take care of those things. The how, the when, and the who, right? And I would really focus on the things that I am able to control, right? Which is feeling as if I already have it now, knowing that it is coming, living that experience of my ideal relationship right now, and focusing on what I have at this moment, the love that I have, because love really, flows through you and to you. So when you're focused on the love, and you are in this love, and you are sending out love, guess what? Love is going to come to you. So I would really focus on that, on your mindset. Okay. Mindset is key. Okay. The next thing that I would do is I would be very, very intentional with this, because now I am going to be prioritizing my love life, right? So I would prioritize what I want to bring into my life, right? And really let everybody that I know that I was ready to meet my special person. So I would talk to all my friends, my family, anyone who would listen really, and let them know that I am ready to bring that special person into my life. And, this way you are vocalizing, you're sending those, signals out that you are ready. And you never know, maybe your cousin over there knows, the perfect guy for you, or you're invited to a party and you meet someone there. You never know. So, keeping those options open, really prioritizing this in your life is key, right? So you're not going to be putting your love life in a back burner anymore. You're going to really put it up front, right? You are going to say to yourself, I am ready to bring this person into my life, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to bring him in, right? And whatever it takes, I don't mean that it has to be like this forceful thing or this like, anything illegal, but it has to be like, you have to put time into it, right? Time, money, probably those like the big resources, right? That you have, and being intentional to bringing that into your life. Okay. The next thing that I would do, which this is a big one, and I talk a lot about this, is create a juicy life. This changed my life forever. When I broke up with my ex, my toxic ex, I realized, right? I was so sad, and in the midst of it all, I realized how I just forgot myself. I was so involved in his life and everything about him that I forgot about me. And I didn't, I had nothing going on for me. And so I really made it my job to create a juicy life for myself, right? So, I talk about this in the Diva dating manual, but what I did was I did an inventory of my life, right? And I saw where it could like improve. So I learned, I learned new skills to better relate to men, right? Understand myself better in order to emotionally connect with others, connect with the men that I wanted to date. So these are the things that I did, and I will still do this again, and I'm still continuing to do this because these are the skills that you need for life, right? So this is something that you definitely want to look into. How can I improve my life? How can I improve and learn new skills to better connect and relate to men? And can I create this juicy life? So do an inventory of your life. Okay. I do this with my clients in my one-on-one. We get down to, every single area of their life, and we look into how ways to improve those areas in order to create that fun, inject that passion, inject that, everything that they desire. Because when you create this juicy life, then your state, your joy, your happiness is just, it's an energy, right? That you're sending out. You are in a different state. You are in a joyful state. You're in a happy state. And that is magnetic. That is magnetic to all men out there, right? This is what a man truly desires. It's a woman who's happy and joyful. This is what it will, magnetize him, right? And if you have this amazing, incredible life, it's so easy for him to come into your life. And that's really when when I was able to bring in my husband, was when I created this juicy, incredible life for myself. And I was just so happy. And I was so happy in my life that I just saw a man as a cherry on the cake, right? He was just a cherry on the cake. He just brought in this extra thing into my life, but I had already created this delicious cake for myself. I was so, so incredibly happy with my life. I was so in love with my life, and I'm still am, which is great because it just continues on, right? And this is something that you want to continue on forever. Even if you're married, you still want to create a juicy life for yourself, right? You still have to take care of you. You still have to inject that fun into your own life, right? Besides the relationship, because this is what you're going to be bringing into your relationship, that joyfulness, that happiness, that passion, that fun, all of that stuff you're going to be bringing into your relationship. So you individually have to take care care of that, right? You can't expect a man to bring you that happiness and joy if you yourself are not happy and joyful in your own life. That just doesn't work that way, right? You have to be your own happy self. And then he just adds to it, right? He can be like the nice cream on top, the icing on the cake for you. But you have to create and make that cake yourself. Okay. The next thing that I would do, that I would highly encourage all of you to do, is see dating as practice. Okay. Because a lot of us, this is the mistake that we make. We go out there and we date as in thinking that the first guy that shows up that gives us there's some signs there that he's interested in us, just a little bit. There's a little bit of chemistry, and there we go. We're like, yes, this is the guy, right? We don't allow him to really prove to us that he is special, that he is the one for us. We just say, this is it, that's it, right? There's a little bit of chemistry, he's a little bit interested in us, and we go for it. So this is when we have to really see dating as practice. This is not like, the first guy that shows interest is the one for you. Okay. You have to see dating as this ballroom. Okay. You're at a ballroom where you get to dance with all types of men, right? You go out and you get to dance with all types of men, and you just practice how to communicate, how to be with the men, how to relate with the men, right? So all the new skills that you're learning, you get to practice then, right? This is why like coaching and courses and all of that really helps, because you get the tools from that, and then you get to practice in real life with men and experiment and see, your results, right? So I would practice these new skills, that I'm learning, and I would experiment to see, what works and what doesn't, because there are certain things that will work for you that may not work for the next girl, right? So practice and experiment with what you're learning. Okay. This would also be a place where I would, gain more clarity on what I like, what I don't like, what I want, what I don't want in a man, right? So don't be too rigid and, with just the type of men that you always gonna date with. Like, be more open to the different types of men, right? Because a lot of times what happens is that we feel this like chemistry and it feels so good. And, that fizzles out really quickly, right? What I've seen in my life, and what I've seen with my clients, is that it's a slow burn. Love really is a slow burn. True love is a slow burn. So you may not feel the fireworks with this man. You may not have these like butterflies in your stomach, but there is a little bit of chemistry there that can grow, right? And with time, you will be able to connect with this man deeper. When you feel safe with a man, when you feel at home with a man, that is giving you a sign that this man is actually a right fit for you. Okay. When you're feeling anxious and confused, you don't know what the heck is going on, and you're like questioning everything, that is a sign that you're with the wrong man, right? He doesn't know what he wants, and is just, going around and around in circles. So that is a sign that you're with the wrong man. And a lot of times those are the ones that we think are the right guys for us, right? When we are all anxious and wanting this man, wanting to cling on to him, that's when we think, yes, this is the one for me. And I have, all the signs, all like, but that's not true love, right? That's just, a lot of chemistry. You have a lot of chemistry with this man, but chemistry is going to go away eventually. Okay. It's not going to last forever. Right. And if you are turned on by men who are, unavailable, then that's something much deeper that you have to look into. Okay. And there are tools and exercises and things that you can do where you can do this inner work and see what your patterns are and how to shift those patterns. Okay. Because those are just patterns that we have, right? So maybe you grew up in a home where you had to prove yourself in order to be loved and get any attention from your dad or your mom, right? Or whoever was your caretaker. And so that is just passed on. And now you're, 30, 40 years old, and you're still looking at, relationships in the same way, right? So you have to go deeper with this, okay? But definitely look at dating as practice, as sorting, as a way of seeing, does this man, does he have what I need in a relationship, right? Would he be a good father to my children if children is what you want? So you're, seeing this as just sorting and observing. There's no, this is it, I want you, and that is that, right? Without really getting to know them. A slow burn, my love. And seeing dating as just practice. You get to practice your new skills, okay? Okay, so the next one, number 5 is, and this is one of the biggest things that I want to ingrain in your brain, okay? And this is keep your heart open, okay? I would keep practicing, I would practice keeping my heart open with every man that comes your way, including the ones that are not that desirable, including the ones that you don't have a lot of chemistry with, right? Open up your heart to that, okay? And there are tools that can really help you with this, okay? Because like I said, being attracted and wanting men who are not emotionally available is a pattern for you, right? So if that is a pattern for you, we need to practice on how to keep your heart open. And I teach that in my Say Yes to Love. I've had a few clients who have gone through that where they haven't been really truly interested in a man. Just, there's a little bit of chemistry, but it hasn't been, like I said, like fireworks and butterflies and all that. And just by doing these exercises and practicing how to open up their hearts, they've been able to actually have very successful and healthy and amazing relationships. So if they can do it, trust me, you can do it too. So I would also, with this, I would really feel my feelings. You learn how to really feel my feelings, because a lot of us have been, trained to not feel, to shut down, right? And it was like your protective mechanism when you were a child, right? To shut down or to run away or to fight even, right? And be aggressive towards the person and yell and scream and throw things around. Right? That's maybe more extreme, but most of us have been, trained, right, to do this in order to protect ourselves. This was just a protective mechanism that we use. So if you are someone who shuts down, who goes numb, or someone who runs away, this is something that we have to look into, okay? On how to feel your feelings, especially when you get triggered, okay? When you get triggered, what is it that you do? Do you shut down and ignore the person, go cold? Do you run away, or do you attack because you feel, defensive, right? So learning how to feel. I know it's kind of funny to even say that, but it's true. A lot of us don't want to feel because we feel like it's going to be too much. We just won't be able to handle it. So we just numb ourselves because it just feels like it's too much for us, right? So having a space to be able, safe space to be able to feel is key, okay? And also being able to express those feelings. This is definitely key, because when you are in a relationship, any type of relationship, it doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in, with your boss or your daughter or, your dad or whoever it may be, the neighbor, you want to learn how to express your feelings, right? You want to learn how to express your feelings in a way that, people can really understand you, right? So not only do you want to feel your feelings, you want to be able to express them. And this is emotional, intelligence, right? Is being able to express your feelings. And let me just put this thing there. Being able to express your feelings. And, because this is vital to having a heart-to-heart connection with a man, right? You will never be able to connect with a man if you're not even able to connect with yourself, if you're not even able to express what you really need, right? Express your feelings. And this is actually something that men love. Men love to, know what you're feeling. They love that because they have a hard time not being able to be in tune with their feelings. So you being able to safely feel your feelings and express them in a way that they can understand, gosh, that's like, incredible. This is magnetic to them. This is what they're looking for, right? I would also practice getting turned on and turned off. Okay. And this is really interesting because practicing how to get turned on and turned off. A lot of us, what we practice is, or what we are so used to, or the pattern that we have is that we get turned on by men who are not emotionally available, or who are breadcrumbing us, or who are not giving us what we really need or what we desire in a man, right? That's when we get turned on. And we have to do the opposite, right? We have to start practicing getting turned off by his behavior. If it's not what you desire, if it's not what you want, you have to start practicing how to turn off by his behavior, right? So more than his words, see how that feels, right? So see how it feels to get turned on, off. I mean, not on, but off by his behavior when he is not, he's breadcrumbing you, let's say, or he is telling you that he's not interested, or he ignores you or whatnot, right? Get turned off by that behavior. And when he does do something that feels good, that feels right, then you get turned on, right? By the men who are actually pursuing you. So notice, how you feel with men that are pursuing you. Okay. Do you feel turned off by these men, or do you think there's something wrong with them as to why they're pursuing you, right? Sometimes we have the nasty voice in our mind telling us that, like, oh, there must be something wrong with this man because he's pursuing me so bad. He wants me so bad that there must be something wrong with him. Right? So we have these crazy ideas in our minds. So this is something that we have to go deeper into. Okay. So if you are interested in working on this and to actually bring this guy into your reality, this is exactly what I did, right? These are the steps that I took. And my love, you can do it too, okay? And so just think of what you can create in 3 months or less with the men that you want if you're consistent and go all in. Okay. If this calls you, please send me an email at info@liliantoscano.com and we can set a time to chat and see if I can support you, because I would love to help you bring this man into your life like I have with many of my clients. And it's just absolutely incredible to see that and be able to be part of that journey with you. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you a beautiful day. If you want to learn more about being in your feminine energy, I have a free feminine energy guide that you can just download from my website. Just go to liliantoscano.com and download it from there. See you soon.